my sound is unique. I don't think, and it's not to sound arrogant or anything like that, I promise it's not, but I don't think there's nobody on this earth that creates the sound I do.
Let us know who you are, where you from, where we at, for one.
Okay, yeah. So y'all know what's going on, man. We in Las Vegas right now. You got your boy, Lamar ThaKidd, coming straight out of Memphis, Tennessee. East Memphis, Tennessee. So, man, y'all know what poppin'. We're just trying to get everything moving the right way. That's how.
Okay. So take us back, Memphis, Tennessee.
All right, so yeah, growing up, my folks grew up in I guess like a Kojic church. But you know how like most Kojic kids, like I ain't gonna say most, a lot of kids that do go to church and stuff like that, over time they just get out of church. I think that's a normal thing because it's a crossover through the traditional ways of how things used to be and with technology, just how people do things. So I was one of those kids, and I kind of shied away from biblical talk, you know, church stuff. But nah, my folks actually, they actually went to church. They actually went to church a lot.
Okay, so you came from a two-parent home?
Yeah, I came from a two-parent home. So yeah, I have what's my foster dad, my foster mom, which is ironic because I was actually adopted, you know. I ain't even gonna talk about it, but yeah, I was adopted at birth, so.
Okay. Yeah. Do you feel that has had effects on your life? Like, was it, you know, something you thought about all the time, or is it just like that's my story and, you know, nothing's changed?
No, I try not to dwell on the past, right? What we want to do is just keep moving forward and just thank God for the blessings that we do have. I'm grateful that I have, you know, two parents, and they don't have to be biological, but two parents that actually care and did what they had to do as parents to make sure I had a good upbringing, right? So I did have those moments, because you got to think, you can have a good upbringing with your parents, you can still be in bad demographics. You see what I'm saying? You could be in the worst part of your city with good upbringing, and that's the thing I dealt with, you know, outside issues and influences growing up. So
right. Tell me the culture that you experience in Memphis and how you feel about Memphis.
I think Memphis. When you say the word Memphis, Memphis is very broad. You know. See, if you're not from there, you can't understand it, but if you've traveled there, you can understand it. Memphis is broad. Within Memphis, you got like South Memphis, of course, what you just said. You got East Memphis, you got North Memphis, you got Frazier, and then you move east of the city where you have like your Cordovas and your Bartletts and those things where it starts to get a little pricey, but those are technically still within Memphis, right? But as far as East Memphis, which is my home where I grew up, the crime rate is constantly increasing. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd be a fool if I sit here and lie to you. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's constantly increasing. We have a lot of break-ins and stuff like that. But my biggest thing was trying to get away and separate myself from the people. I ain't gonna say the people, but certain activities. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Certain activities. You can go downtown, right? And they don't have homicides and stuff like that, right? You go to North Memphis, they do, but they don't have as many car break-ins as East Memphis do. East Memphis is almost like the center. They say East, right? But when you're in Memphis, we know it's almost like the center. Parkway Village is where I grew up, and be honest with you, it was rough. It was rough, and my biggest thing is just trying to separate that and trying to stay within the rights of keep doing what I'm doing and stay within the right path of God.
Who were some of your inspirations? What was that moment for you? Like, I'm gonna do music.
Okay, all right. So, man, so I used to ride to school, and my dad always listened to like AM radio. Who listened to AM radio, right? Like talk shows, like, yeah, where are you from? Like, you gonna bump that trap stuff, right? But listening and riding with him, I started to develop like a sound for like the KRS ones. I'm a old soul. You know, I got into the KRS ones, to the Rackams. I got into the Run DMC, even DMX from the 2000 era, because that's who I'm finna say. But from 2000 era, but from that, Rappers Delight, 1979 when they first dropped that, a hip, a hop, a hibbie. So that. Growing into once I got to the point and I was in the I want to say the 6th grade, you know, at that point I had the option to choose. Well, hey, you want to kick it with the folks that you know they're gonna gang bang all day, or you can actually try to do something productive in which you like. I found myself liking music. I didn't think it'd grow to where it is now, but me finding myself liking music, I went in and I started doing some talent shows and stuff like that. Yeah, and that's how the journey started. So I'm gonna say that's how it started.
What would you say your biggest obstacle with music is, or has been in your journey so far?
Finding a willing and committed team. I'll start with that. Finding a willing and committed team to basically believe in the same thing you believe in, and ultimately having the same goals, basically to get to the end. But it's multiple issues. When it comes to music, it don't stop. You know, you can have self issues, flesh issues. You can have issues you deal with internally that affect the music, right? So that's a broad question. You know what I'm saying? That's a real broad question. But for the most part, we getting the production. I'm getting the production. I'm a one-man crew right now, right? So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I think the production of it is having a full committed team to believe in one goal. You might have somebody, hey, I like this track. They want to go here. Okay, let's promote this. Let's use this. But in reality, it's like it's very slim that artists have a team of roughly, let's just say 10, and stay with that same 10 for more than 5 years. So I think that's probably my biggest obstacle right now. Okay, so yeah, before you guys got Lamar ThaKidd, right? If y'all know me, we was addressed at Rip Montana. And here's the thing, Rip Montana sold a lot of records. Rip Montana wrote for a lot of people within my city. A lot of people. Rip Montana wrote roughly over 800 tracks for other artists. I just got to the point where I wanted to do it for me. And it wasn't even a monetary value, because I spend more now as being, you know what I'm saying, an artist than you would for writing for people, right? You make money, you're not spending it, right? So, yeah, that was that. But the music I used to drop, and be real with you, it was wicked. You know what I'm saying? And this is my standpoint on looking at it now. I didn't have the same outlook 2 years ago. I didn't have this outlook. The outlook I had 2 years ago was, let's make some money, right? Let's find something that's catchy, right? Let's find something that's redundant, that can be repetitive, and people can constantly, like a chant, right, within the hip hop culture. And let's move there. And it was only a monetary gain. And the way I was leading people, I talked about so many drugs. I talked about so many women, you know, and now I feel so a little weakened inside, because I diminished our black women like that. And now having a different outlook on things, I just know now that I was wrong. But my biggest thing was, how can you correct those wrongs? And I guess that's where I'm at now. And I really want to correct those wrongs. I have a talent, but I had one of those nights where I was really going through it, and I was going through a lot. And you gotta understand, I went through a lot of drug addiction. Right? That's what a lot of people don't know. I clear the surface and I go missing for a while. You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know that I had a drug addiction problem. You wouldn't even know that I've been in rehab facilities. You wouldn't even know that I've been to Lakeside. You wouldn't even know that I was homeless. You wouldn't even know that I slept on the street for 6 months. You wouldn't even know. I had to stop taking his faithfulness for granted. For the most part, that's really what it was. I stopped taking God's faithfulness for granted. In return, I used what I was good at, which was the music, and you see what I'm saying? And that's how that transpired. All right, so yeah, we have the the album release on August 31st, which is Born Again, right? This is one of my, so as Rip Montana, you get Rip Montana and all these other albums, and they did sell. They did pretty well. Like, and you can ask folks, they did pretty well. But when it comes to the aspect of changing the genre, I was a little skeptical. I was a little nervous. I promise I was. When you talk financial values, you talk about a kid. I got a daughter, Raina, and it's like, my whole goal is to be financially, okay, I don't want to be rich. There's a lot of problems come with it. I don't care about that. The whole goal was to make sure my daughter and my kids are okay. All right. So the last album under Rip Montana, it did very well. But in the midst time of finding God, we changed the whole thing of why we even sitting here right now. I should be telling you about a whole nother album, but I'm here telling you about God and how he worked in my life. Because he works. All right. The album comes out August 31st, Born Again. And right now we have 3 features on it. We have Sunnyland. We have Anointed Boy Kevin. And we have Patrick Hardaway on there. Now, this is a team that I constructed on my own, right? This team, basically, it's I ain't gonna say it's a bunch of unknown people, but who cares about them being known? Let's deliver a message in an entertaining way and give the people what they want to hear. Demographically, it'll switch out of Memphis eventually. But let's give Memphis what they want to hear. Stay faithful. Stay committed to God. Take your time as if time was the last thing on earth.